So you've used that phrase a few times, Sam, around it's all fake anyway.
Yeah.
So how do you spot fake people?
I don't know. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. I think I can tell if someone's on board with you and if they're with you.
Because this is one of the questions that we've asked, say, some of our young athletes of, like, how, like Rio Ferdinand, for example, told us that when you're in the middle of your career, it's like being in a washing machine trying to separate the colours from the whites, that it's hard because everybody says yes to you. There's no restaurant that's ever closed to you. There's, like, nobody ever says
I'd like to
no.
be like Rio Ferdinand. Any restaurant. No. Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'm not in that situation yet. Yeah. I still get a lot of no's.
One day.
Yeah.
Talking of which, I want to talk to you about the importance and the power of dreaming. Because I see often you linked with big roles. You know, the James Bond, Sam Heughan link is mentioned all the time. And, there's people placing money on it, I guess, because the odds change. And
yeah.
What's your relationship like with those kinds of conversations? Do you allow yourself to have those dreams? And if you do or don't, is it a powerful thing?
I think it's important to dream, isn't it? And I think it's important to aspire to greatness and to new goals. That one in particular is one of many that you would you'd die for.
Yeah.
But also I'm very aware that it's more of a bookie's dream than anything. But yeah, I think it is important for us to dream big. And I think that, again, going back to an athlete, to dream of going to the Olympics, I mean, it must be everything. And I think that to strive for more is important.
So what's your equivalent of the Olympics then?
James Bond. No, it's not. It's what is my?
It would be good though.
I mean, you wouldn't complain. But I think there's also an infinite number of amazing roles out there. And as we were talking about before, it's not, for me, it's actually sort of not just about acting now. I have a lot of other projects and things on the go, and actually finding more doors are open in those fields of sort of being an entrepreneur than the acting world. So I'm really finding a lot of, satisfaction from that.
I can understand the Men in Kilts thing, which is your TV show, because of your upbringing, and it's hilarious.
I just wanted to wear a kilt.
You work really well together. And the whiskey I can understand as well. It kind of all makes sense. I'm really interested though in my peak challenge that you do.
Yeah.
What is the driver for you to get other people fitter, stronger, healthier, happier?
Yeah, so my peak challenge is a charity fundraiser I started when I went back to Scotland to start shooting Outlander. And essentially it was a social media experiment, really. I was trying to help raise money for charity, and we did that through selling some t-shirts and sort of encouraging people to create a new healthy habit. And I think at that time I was also really enjoying the outdoors in Scotland, hiking a lot, just sort of seeing new horizons, and realizing it didn't take a lot to just get out there and do it. And I think through that, over a year or so, I realized that actually the problem was education, that people didn't know, especially the sort of demographic that I was talking to at the time, the fans. There were people that maybe were desperately wanted to get fit or to change their lifestyle, but they didn't know how and just needed that information and I guess that motivation. And so, yeah, I sort of started my peak challenge with my business partner, who I must mention, Alex Nazuri, who was just fantastic. And we went from, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 followers to, I think we're about 15 to 20,000 now. And we've raised almost $6 million for charity. Wow. But not only that, we just have this group of people who are supportive and energetic and this wonderful community, and it's around the world, people all across the world, and they support each other and share their highs and lows and their challenges and essentially also their victories. They've lost weight, they've found confidence, they've found friendship, they have done things they never thought they would. And I think it's giving them the power to do it. So it's not really me, it's them sort of taking control, I guess, of responsibility, right?
And what has been the most effective first step that people have found helps them on that journey?
It is taking the first step, I think. The first step is the hardest. Knowing where to start. We try and give them a platform and the information. And as soon as they take that first step, they realize it's not as hard as they thought. But then I guess also keeping it as a habit. And I think we've all tried it. You know, I mean, God, I've tried so many. You know, I've done everything. You know, and you get into, you know, a couple of weeks of a workout schedule or whatever, and you give up because you get bored or you're not sure. And so I think it's about variety and about goals and about also, you know, not giving yourself a hard time and just kind of going with it.
It's a good reminder that action leads to motivation. We think so many people sit around waiting for the motivation to arrive, and it never does. You've got to take the action first of all. Yeah. It's also really powerful, I think, that we get a lot of messages from people saying, oh, your podcast has whatever to my life. And I often read them and think, no, you've done that. And that's the great thing about My Peak Challenge, is that you're just giving people the opportunity, and they're showing to you the power of community, of a sense of togetherness, of starting a journey. It's a good message for anyone listening to this, I think.
It really is. Honestly, I'm inspired every day by them. You know, I literally have done nothing. I give them a platform, but to see, you know, a woman who had severe immobility is now able to, you know, to do certain exercises, or, you know, a group of people who were quite lone, you know, now created a community, or sharing their fears as well. I think there's great bravery in that. So yeah, they inspire us every day, and to be honest, yeah, it's wonderful, and I keep going back to it every day just to it actually keeps me motivated as well.
Brilliant. It's time for our quick fire questions.
Oh, right. Okay. Good luck.
So first of all, we want your 3 non-negotiable behaviours that you and the people around you have to buy into.
Honesty, enthusiasm, and determination.
Strong.
If you could go back to one period of your life, Sam, what would it be and why?
I mean, as I'm, you know, getting older, I guess, I mean, I would love to do it all again, but I wouldn't change anything. I don't think I would change anything. You know, they're very briefly, I just went through a bereavement quite recently, and I guess during that time you wish, you know, God, I wish I'd done more. I wish I'd spent more time with this person or spoken to them. But I guess I wouldn't change anything. Yeah, but there are moments, I guess, where we would think, God, I wish I could go back.
How important is legacy to you?
That's so interesting, isn't it? Because I think, you know, as human beings, we all want to leave behind a better place. I certainly do. So I guess it is important. And I guess as an actor, you know, you want possibly people to look back on a performance or be able to rewatch something and go, God, that was great. So in a way, yeah, I do. I want to leave, I guess, the world a better place with you know, some form of legacy that people are affected by and brings, you know, happiness to them.
Would you recommend what a book, a podcast, or a TV series that our listeners should absorb?
Ooh, well, apart from your podcast, of course, there's some great sound bites there, mostly by Jake. He's got some T-shirts printed.
Hey, funny you should say that.
A book. Oh, I mean, you know, I am into the outdoors, and I think personally, right now I'm about to do a job about climbing, about Everest, and you know, I read Ant Middleton's book. You know, I'm reading a lot of those books. So even Bear Grylls, you know, I think I'm kind of inspired by those, by climbing stuff. So I guess one of their books about summiting Everest, because I think Everest for me at the moment, you know, is sort of the pinnacle of human achievement.
And finally, the last question is something to leave our listeners and viewers to think about. Based on all the experiences you've had, from when you were at youth theatre to the bad times when the auditions weren't great and the rejections were heavy, to the good times where you keep on working and things, all those things you've learned along the way, at the moment in your life, what would you say is the one golden rule to living a high performance life?
Sleep more.
Recovery
Sleep
is key.
So important, and relax, I think, is the most important. You know, you've got it. You've got this. You've put the work in, and I think just let it happen.
It's a great message, and I think from the conversation we've just had, that is the sense that maybe at the beginning acting was a real hard work and a real job, and you had to work hard at it. And the longer you've gone through, the more natural it's become. The more you've relaxed and found your flow, and it's a testament to the work you're getting now.
Thank you, mate.